There are moments in life when everything feels like it's falling apart, when the things we planned unravel and the dreams we held tightly seem to slip quietly through our fingers. In those moments, when clarity vanishes and the road ahead feels dark and uncertain, we search for something solid to hold on to, something true, something eternal. And in the stillness, if we listen closely, we hear the whisper of a promise that has echoed through generations. All things. Not just the good or the easy or the expected. All things work together for good for those who love God. It's a difficult truth to embrace when life doesn't look anything like we imagined, when pain shows up uninvited and prayers go unanswered, when loss steals what we held dear and silence greets our cries. Still, the promise remains, not because our circumstances prove it, but because God said it, and when He speaks, the universe listens. He doesn't take your story lightly. Every joy, every wound, every scar, every tear, it matters. Not one moment of your life is wasted in His hands. Sometimes we want God to show us the map. We want the route marked out clearly with every twist explained and every delay justified. But instead, He gives us something deeper than answers. He gives us Himself. He gives us His nearness, His presence. He walks with us, even when the fog refuses to lift. And that's the miracle we often miss, that in the middle of confusion, He has not abandoned us. He hasn't forgotten how to be good, and He hasn't lost control. When trouble surrounds us and the weight becomes unbearable, it's easy to wonder if God still sees, if He still cares. But He does. He sees the tears you cry behind closed doors. He hears the words you don't say because you're too exhausted to pray. And He stays. When people leave, when things break, when the world disappoints, He stays. Life will not always be easy. Even the most faithful will face storms. The Bible never hides that. In fact, it says that the righteous will have many afflictions. Not just one, not just a few, many. But that's not where the story ends. The Lord delivers them out of them all. That's the kind of God we have. A deliverer. Not someone who avoids the fire, but one who steps into it with us, who makes Himself known in the furnace, who brings beauty out of ashes and meaning out of pain. You might be in a season right now where nothing makes sense, where the door you thought would open slammed shut, where the prayer you prayed has lingered without reply, and you're left wondering why. But in that place of uncertainty, God whispers something sacred. I'm still working. He doesn't always work in the ways we expect, and He rarely works on our timeline. But He's never late. He's never inactive. He's never indifferent. Faith isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting the one who does. It's about choosing to believe even when the night is long and the answers are hidden. Even when you can't see the way forward, there is a God who can. And He's leading you, even now, even here. When our eyes can't see the path, our hearts can still hold on to the promise that He is faithful, that He is good, that He is working behind the scenes, even when all we see is silence. The God who knows the beginning and the end, and every painful middle, is still at work, still writing, still redeeming, still moving, even when it doesn't feel like it. He's not just piecing your story together. He's crafting a masterpiece, and the parts that feel most broken might just be the very pieces He'll use to reveal His glory. There's something sacred about brokenness, something hidden in the cracks of our most painful seasons that God seems to treasure. We want to rush through it, escape it, find the exit as fast as we can. But God, in His wisdom, often chooses to meet us right there, in the aching middle, in the delay that stretches longer than we hoped. And somehow, without warning, our pain becomes the very place where His presence becomes real, tangible, unshakable. You don't have to pretend that it's easy. Faith doesn't mean you smile while everything burns. It means you hold on to the truth, even with trembling hands. It means you speak the promises of God out loud when your heart doesn't feel them yet. It means you trust that the same God who raised the dead, calmed storms, and healed the blind hasn't changed. He is the same today, and He is still powerful enough to calm the chaos inside you. God never asked you to be strong on your own. He never said you had to have it all figured out. He asked you to lean, to rest, to believe that He is who He says He is, even when everything else tries to convince you otherwise. His presence is not a reward for the perfect. It's a refuge for the weary, a home for the broken. And if you feel weak, you're not disqualified. You're exactly where grace is strongest. Sometimes we beg God for outcomes, but He wants to teach us how to endure. We plead for closure, and He offers us His character. We cry for change, but He gives us the strength to remain. That's not punishment. That's preparation. He's not being cruel when He stretches you. He's making space inside of you to hold something greater. Something you couldn't carry before the breaking. Something eternal. It might not make sense yet. You may be asking questions with no clear answers. Why did this happen? Why now? Why me? But God isn't overwhelmed by your questions. He's not disappointed by your doubt. He sits with you in it. And slowly, gently, He begins to shift your heart from asking, "Why me?" to "What are you shaping in me?" There's a kind of trust that can only be formed in the fire, a kind of worship that can only rise from the ashes. And God, in His mercy, allows us to walk through valleys, not to destroy us, but to deepen us, to pull us closer to His heart, to show us that even when the world gives way, He is still our foundation. You may not see it now, but your endurance is being built. Your faith is being refined. Your roots are growing deeper. And one day, what feels like a wilderness will become the very place you found your voice, your purpose, your calling. God is not wasting this season. He's using it. He's growing you. He's positioning you for something greater. When you look around and everything feels uncertain, remember this: your God is not shaken. He is not confused. He has not abandoned the throne. His plans for you are still good, still full of hope, still leading you to a future you can't yet see. So don't measure God's presence by your comfort. Don't measure His love by how easy things feel. Measure it by the cross, where He proved once and for all that nothing can separate you from His love. Even when your emotions say one thing, His word still stands. Even when your heart grows tired, His promise holds. The silence isn't proof of His absence. It's often the setup for something miraculous. Sometimes God does His deepest work in the quietest seasons. And in that stillness, where the world stops clapping and the spotlight dims, you'll find the real treasure. Him. Not the answer, not the breakthrough, not the fix. Him. And He is always enough. There's a hidden beauty in waiting, though we rarely recognize it while we're in it. The waiting stretches us, reshapes us, and if we let it, it draws us closer to the heartbeat of God. Because it's there, in the long in-between, that trust becomes more than a word. It becomes our lifeline. The truth is, anyone can have faith when things are easy. But it's when the night lingers, when the answers don't come, when you're still praying the same prayer months or years later, that's when faith is forged into something unshakable. Maybe you've whispered, "God, I've had enough." Maybe you've cried in silence, hoping nobody would notice the cracks forming in your strength. Maybe the fear has crept in, the doubt has grown loud, and the weight of just trying to get through the day has become a battle all its own. And still, God is with you, not in a distant way, not as a passive observer. He's there in the tension, in the breathless pauses between heartbreak and healing, in the unseen moments when you choose to keep going. He sees every unseen act of courage, every time you get back up when nobody's watching, every time you worship when you feel dry, every time you choose to believe when you're still surrounded by reasons to fear. That kind of faith shakes the gates of hell. It's the kind of faith that heaven honors. You may not feel heroic, but every act of perseverance is proof that God is still writing your story. And no, it's not always going to feel spiritual. Sometimes obedience looks like getting out of bed when your soul wants to stay under the weight of discouragement. Sometimes it looks like choosing to be kind when you want to shut the world out. Sometimes it's simply breathing and saying, "God, I trust you," even when your heart is full of questions. The enemy wants you to think that you're forgotten, that your struggle means you're failing, that silence means abandonment. But that's a lie. You are seen. You are held. You are loved more than your mind can understand. God hasn't stepped away. He's closer now than you realize. He's catching every tear, storing every prayer, listening to every unspoken word. And he's working quietly, patiently, sovereignly on your behalf. There's purpose in this wilderness. There's treasure in this dark. You may not see the full picture, but piece by piece, God is weaving something eternal, something so much bigger than what you thought you needed. And when it's finally revealed, when the curtain is pulled back, you'll stand in awe at the way He brought it all together. You're not being punished, you're being prepared. For every delay, there is a design. For every trial, there is a testimony being born. For every tear, there is comfort. For every battle, there is breakthrough coming. But the greatest miracle of all isn't just in what God does for you. It's in what He does within you, how He changes your heart, steadies your spirit, and teaches you how to hear His voice even when the world is loud. You're not walking through this alone. Heaven walks with you. Angels surround you. Grace covers you. And God Himself holds you. The battle is not just yours to fight. He is fighting for you. Not as a distant warrior, but as a loving Father who refuses to let you sink. So when you feel overwhelmed, remind your soul who your God is. The one who spoke stars into place knows you by name. The one who conquered death is holding your future. And the one who formed you in secret is watching over every detail of your life. You don't have to have the strength. You just have to surrender. Let go of the illusion that you're in control. Let go of the pressure to figure it all out. Let go of the fear that paralyzes. And take hold of the promise that God is already where you're going. He's in your tomorrow, making a way. He's behind you, redeeming what was lost. And He's beside you now, whispering, "I'm here." Even in the silence, He speaks. Even in the stillness, He moves. Even when you feel lost, He is leading. So breathe. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are right where grace is meeting you, one moment at a time. So now, as you stand in this place, between what you hoped for and what you're walking through, remember this. God is not asking you to have it all figured out. He's not demanding perfection or a flawless record of faith. He's simply inviting you to stay close, to keep showing up, to let Him be the strength when yours runs out. You were never meant to carry this alone. The weight of uncertainty, the ache of loss, the pressure to perform or pretend. Lay it all down, not in defeat, but in surrender. Because surrender isn't giving up, it's giving over. It's placing what's too heavy into hands that are strong enough to hold it. It's trusting that even when the path is unclear, the shepherd is good. And yes, the world may shout for you to be strong, to push through, to never break. But the kingdom whispers a different invitation. Come to me, all who are weary, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. Not more pressure, not more performance. Rest. There's healing in His presence. There's peace that surpasses understanding. There's restoration that flows not from striving, but from simply being still and knowing that He is God. So don't rush this season. Don't resent it. It may be the soil where deep roots are being formed, where a stronger, steadier faith is growing, where your identity is being refined, not in what you do or what you feel, but in whose you are. You are not abandoned. You are not disqualified. You are not too far gone. You are still chosen, still called, still carried, still deeply, wildly loved. Even now, let that truth wash over every fear and every failure. Let it echo louder than the lies and the shame. Let it remind you that your story is not over and your best days are not behind you. They are still unfolding. One step of faith at a time. You may feel broken, but God sees a vessel ready to be filled. You may feel weak, but in your weakness, His power is made perfect. You may feel lost, but grace knows the way home. So walk forward, not with fear, but with quiet confidence. Not because you know what's next, but because you know who goes with you. Every step, every breath, every tear is seen by the one who loves you most. And in the end, when you look back on this season, it won't just be about what changed around you. It will be about what changed within you. The kind of change that only happens when you've walked through the valley and found out that even there, God was enough.